For our country we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. I want to welcome you to the Dynamic Hour. Again, we have a unique moment in time to reason, to talk, to look at our country and ways in which we can develop it, transform it, better it. I want to encourage those on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. So, folks, I want to start off this morning by saying yesterday the NNP had a press conference. The journalists, they seem to not be impressed with the complaining, grinding, and groaning. They didn't ask, like many questions or so to who were at the front of the class or the head table. But I decided to go back and listen to the news piece, what came out of it, what the news brought to the public, right? Those news outfits. So GBN did a piece on the press conference and MTV did a piece on the press conference. So GBN played this piece and it was similar on MTV. But what I want us this morning to do is focus on the comments under the pieces that GBN did and MTV. So MTV did a news item out of the press conference and GBN did the same. But I want this morning to look at the comments because I have been telling you that Grenadians are smart, Grenadians are clever, Grenadians are on top of their game, and NNP will not be able to fool them. So first, let me play the news item for you.
On the heading of a press conference titled "The True Cost of Mismanagement," 3 new National Party candidates called for urgent government action to address top challenges in the economy, infrastructure, and the fishing sector. Political leader of the new National Party, Honorable Emmeline Pear, described the current cost of living crisis as primarily the result of internal forces, with government policies not being aligned with the reality faced by Grenadians.
We all know that there is imported inflation that's contributing to the cost of living, contributing to the rising price of goods and services. But let me be clear, even clearer, on what that really means. It does not mean that the government is released from its obligation to bring relief and support to its people.
Deputy political leader of the NNP, Norland Cox, expressed concerns about government's management of infrastructure projects, resulting in overspent budgets and exceeded timelines.
The current Minister for Infrastructure and Prime Minister should strongly consider relinquishing the Ministry of Infrastructure. Demands of that ministry is highly technical. It cannot be managed part-time while balancing regional travel and international travel and multiple portfolios. While attention is divided projects exceed budget. While focus is elsewhere, timelines collapse.
Referencing the repercussions of the ongoing U.S. fish ban, NNP candidate for St. George Northwest, Dr. Adrian Joseph, said what began as an economic challenge could spiral into social consequences.
So, my friend, when income collapses, the damage is not only financial, it is psychological. It destabilizes households and entire communities like Grand Mall.
Right. So I decided to play first the GBN piece because that is what they brought from the press conference of the NNP. But let me read for you the comments, some of the comments, at least 90-something% of the comments, give you a little taste of what, people commented on what they said. So one person said, in a few weeks, they would be blaming the government for an increase in gas prices because there is war in the Middle East. So someone is saying in a few weeks, they will be blaming the government, the NNP will be blaming the government for an increase in the gas prices. And another person say, correct. Then another person, NNP's blood pressure has reached 2,000 or 1,000, call 911. Another person said, and that's just me just going through, what some of the comments on that post is. Another person said, don't go there. Who has more corruption and misuse of money than the NNP administration? Please ask Nolan Cox what he did with, right? And that's just a comment. I don't want to mention it here. And was sent to blah, 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 blah. And, I don't really want to go into that particular one because the person is making reference to some money here. I'm not going to mention it. All right, let's continue. I believe Youth Parliament sung better than them. That's the NNP. They sung as primary school students council campaign. All right. Not one of you all could do something. All you just do is ordinary. All you do as ordinary citizens. Somebody here. This is madness. They know what's going on in the world, so they think it's cool to lie for people. Another person yawn. Another person, that's hilarious. It's no wonder the press had nothing to ask. Nothing was said. All what they are saying there was existing under the NNP then. They abandoned putting things in place to keep the fish trade in place. They had 5 years to respond and didn't. Cost of living was sky high then, and they did nothing. Right? They did nothing to solve it. The whole world is in a turmoil. So it's obvious cost of living will keep going up no matter what. Forget about Cox, another opportunist. The man can't even explain or speak fluently. I cry. If a party have clowns, if a party done, if a party is dead, right? And then they continue. NNP full of shit with the petty talks to get into power again using the harsh reality that we can't control to make it seems like there is a way out. For all the years you all been there, what all you focus on? Why is the country still at this state? All you keep the poor and the vulnerable just to stay in power, minimum wage, low like hell, just so we can't make ends meet and we have to depend on all you. Well said, bro. That's somebody commending that person. Mr. Cox, you should be ashamed to make such a statement. Who advised you to do so? I think you just made yourself a blank. Stoops. Where this though, no, nothing come out. I'm just using the words that the people have, the comments. Where these don't know nothing about the great mighty America who manufactures goods and produce all sorts of things. Go into a supermarket out there and watch the prices of stuff. A matter of fact, some people out here say it is cheaper to come to Grenada now and shop, but you're running your lying mouth by blaming the government for the rise in food prices. Stop misleading and playing with the vulnerable-minded people, Grenadians. Instead of fooling them, go and, instead of fooling them to get votes, educate them about how much monies the business places here does have to pay for the goods out there and how much to import it. Right? And it's a lengthy piece. The entire Caribbean is one big, whatever, hole, and many of you laughing at it, but the reality is that some big financial crisis and, lengthy stuff, again, utter nonsense, another person. Desperation, and more desperation. NNP, it's time to give up. Little children laughing at you guys. Go back to the drawing board and figure something out. Keep mash up the party and all your days done. Another person, cost of living is high in Grenada and you guys turn a blind eyes to it for all of these years. The whole infrastructure of Grenada needs upgrading. Grenada system needs updating. Things happening or moving too slow in Grenada. If you guys need to make it a reality, you guys need to step up. All right, so another person, Stoops, oh please, 24 years, you all did nothing. Hush all your moody. Crap, go in all your house and relax. Rubbish, another person. All of you are obscene language off, right? That's another person. Cox, you should relinquish your position as deputy leader because you cannot even explain yourself. Well, for Emma, girl, I don't know now. You don't even know what is inflation. Guys, don't you feel embarrassed or shame in telling people those things that I saw before, right? You guys need to stop and speak the truth. Too much lies. You guys need to vote you see all sort of things, right? You guys need vote. So you see all kind of things. You can't change nothing, another person. All right, continuing. Stoops. But I'm saying that these are the majority of comments. That's 90-something% of the comments out of the 52 comments. These are the majority of comments under that post on Facebook with the GBN piece. So that's the GBN piece. Let me now play for you the MTV piece that they brought on that press conference. All right, because trying to give you an insight as to how people are feeling and what people are saying about the NNP. This is the MTV piece.
We are here to speak plainly about the real cost of mismanagement and to present a clear path toward competent and steady leadership. To address the different dimensions of the national challenge, we have 3 speakers here with us today.
Ensuring that Grenada will never have to face a crisis empty-handed. That is leadership. That is leadership. What is...
So anyways, the piece on MTV was very long, right? Very, very long. The piece on MTV, very, very long. So it's like a live, like they brought it live or so. All right, so it's very lengthy.
We are here to speak plainly about
mismanagement.
So let's look at the comments now on the MTV. That's important. I want you to see the comments on the MTV piece now. And it's about 48 comments. I will try to read about 90% of it for you. The first one, always comment on the media to complain. That's one person. Another person, bunch of clowns. You all have no shame. Another person, that girl really believe they're going back in office she's sick. Another person, Comical Ali is in the house. Another person, come on. Another person, no one is listening because there is no song and no solutions. Plant more food and eat what you grow. Another person, who's advising your team? Who's advising your team? Question. Brothers and sisters already know. Another person, Brothers and sisters, already know the prices are high. Please tell them what you're going to do about that. Tell them what your plans are to help them. All you do talk about is what the government is doing. They want to hear what the NNP will do. Please and thanks. That's another person. Another person, you all run out of interest. Too much nonsense now. Another person, God eye is not blind. God eye is not deaf. God mouth still speaking. God judgment is sure. God loves people to speak the truth. Another person, obscene language off. Another person, Grenada has moved on. We need some higher thinking. You guys are playing in kindergarten. It's time to graduate to a higher class. Another person, hello. Another person, good morning. Another person, all you gone. Never to return. Peter doing better than all you. Another person, Stoops. Another person, what plans all you have? NNP day is done. Much fast. Move fast. Where the millions are invested. NNP run with whatever the person say run with. Another person, I all don't tired. All you don't tired. What colloquially speaking, all you don't tired complaining. Another person, bread nuts. A picture of bread nuts. Another person, look who talking about project now. Another person, Cox, you need to be honest. That's the comments. And that's just the majority of comments. That's just the majority of the comments. You know, and you could go on MTV and see for yourself. I am not making this thing up. No, this is what is there. Another person, a bunch of losers, shaking my head. Tell us your plans. We all know the cost of living is all over. I want to know what your plans are for Grenada. You see the point? Grenadians no longer eat $100 on a Monday. They eat beef every 2 weeks. All you should go block out. Speak plainly about your leader trying to get you off the party, Emlyn. Right? The person referring to Emlyn. Or you could never win election in Grenada. Next election, only 4 years in office and people seeing great progress. Compare you all 23 years in government. You know? What was the reason for the press conference? What's the intention behind it? Shaking my head. People has been leveled up and are leveling up. You know, you just go and read it for yourself. The reason why we import labor, our people are not skilled. And who to blame for that is NNP. You know, you should talk about the US 140,000 that was given to your constituency during the election campaign. Ha 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 ha. The NNP was the worst managing the infrastructure. Cox, you need to be on. You know, you just go and you check it out. Why you don't talk about the wastage under the NNP? Stoops. So, folks, I am not making this thing up. I'm telling you what Grenadians are putting under these. And look, if you say, well, MTV is independent, GBN is independent, but they did this item. They post this thing on their page. And ordinary Grenadians, home and abroad, went on the thing and they commented. They put comments under the post. And I don't know if NNP not reading these things or if they're not following these things. But a smart politician will go back and read, evaluate, assess. I remember when I started Youth for Change, a group of young people, I brought them together and we were out there speaking issues and so on. And in my spare time, after we do a meeting, I will go back and even if it's because we would have 1,500 comments, I would kind of look at an average amount and check out the feedback, check out the comments, so we can improve as we go, so we can do better, you see? And many of the comments, they were positive, but still you have one or two, you know, so you try to. But it's like the NNP, I don't know, they're out of touch. They're out of touch. And Grenadians are seeing through them. And not just Grenadians here in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Grenadians also in the diaspora, they are seen through the NNP because the NNP is complaining too damn much and they have no solutions. Cost of living is high all around the world. And with the crisis in the Middle East, it will get even higher because oil and gas, where it comes from, where the majority comes from, and it's set at a certain price internationally per barrel. So look, complaining about the fish ban, there are a lot of countries around the world who are banned from exporting fish to the United States. And the fish ban is not something that the NDC started. No, the NNP was in power. And the NNP was told these are the things that you needed to do. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. And they got an extension to do it. 2 additional years, and they didn't do it. But now they want to blame the NDC for it. People are seeing through the NNP. People are seeing through the NNP. So many good things are happening. They had a press conference yesterday. The government just introduced the ED card or online portal where people who are coming into Grenada can just go online and fill up or provide immigration with their information. And when they come, they don't have to take no paper and write nothing. Not one of them mentioned that to say, well, that's a good thing. That's a wonderful thing. That's a brilliant idea or project. Not one of them. You see the point? The new government portal, the vendors portal, Ministry of Finance introduced. The NNP complained that these people not getting paid, and that one complained and that one. So now people are getting paid through the portal. It is more efficient. It starts working the right way. You don't hear none of these people come out and commend or applaud the government for such a thing. None of them. The Windward Port, the Windward Port project for the people of Petit Martinique and so on, the jetty, that is ongoing. Brilliant project. You don't hear them come out and commend that? I applaud that. The schools that are being constructed, construction going nicely, things are happening. St. David's Catholic Secondary School, St. Andrew's Anglican Primary School, Grenada Christian Academy, and the other schools, things are happening nice and smooth. Why? You hear none of them come out and applaud that? None of them. Police and the prison, they just signed an agreement to get an increase in salary, 4% 2026, 4% 2027, 4% 2020, 5% I think 2020, no, 4% 2028, something like that. You only hear the NNP come out in all the talk they talk. You only hear them not once come out and applaud the government or a comment. Even if you don't want to applaud government, you could say, well, look, the project going good. People are getting work. Opportunities are created, right? You have the Intercontinental. You have Six Senses. You have the project in Liver. All these major projects are ongoing. You know, I pass in Las Ojes at evening or afternoon time on I think last Friday it was, and I was shocked. I thought it was they had sports in Las Ojes. Believe so help me God. I thought I turned around and asked in the bus. I say they have sports today. Then the guy turned around and said to me, no, the workers at Intercontinental and Six Senses, when they come out from work on a fortnight, oh Lord, if you see people there, Papa, and you have, you know, people with their little bus and things selling food and selling drinks and selling a damn good lime, you know. Yeah. And on evenings again, when I sit or I'm standing outside of my place, you know, on the lawn or outside there, I would see truckloads of men coming from work. So there are jobs and opportunities are being created for people. Opportunities are being created. So my thing is, the NNP, they are not talking anything positive. Nothing good. Only negative, negative, negative. Why? That's all you have? But what I love, the Grenadian people are seeing through the NNP and the nonsense. Look at the fire victims in Shantimel. The government just hand over the 5 houses. Beautiful, wonderful. You don't see one of them, not one of the NNP people who at the press conference come out and say, well, boy, I want to commend the people of Shantimel. I want to commend the committee. Even if you don't want to commend, you don't want to applaud the MP for his leadership or the most honorable Deacon Mitchell, but at least commend the private sector, commend the committee, the people who work on. Come on, brilliant. NNP. I don't know if they're not going back and check the comments and the feedback from people. This is ordinary Grenadians going and listen and commenting and telling you how they feel. NNP, you're in bad shape, terrible shape. And I had to mention it. I had to talk about it this morning. I mean, it's really, really bad. Somebody have to tell these people that. But for me, I love the fact that people are seeing NNP as mess, as no good. But I still feel sorry for them because it's like they don't know, they don't understand. Grenadians fed up with the NNP. They don't want to see the NNP, the new nasty party. They had you all for 20-something years. And you know what's amazing? Somebody asked a question. Keith Mitchell is the member of parliament for St. George Northwest. He's collecting a salary as a member of parliament. I think it's about $5,000 every month. He gets a constituency allowance of $10,000, right, to do things in the constituency every month. But Adrian Joseph is caretaker for the new National Party for that constituency. So that's a party thing. That's not no government thing, a party thing. You're not seeing Keith Mitchell in the constituency as you're supposed to see him. I don't know what he's doing. So he cock up on his rocking chair, in my belief, figuratively speaking, collecting this money every month. But what is he doing? What is his, we need to see value for money. And I think it's something that people need to ask. Because Adrian Joseph is doing his political thing. That's politics. That's not government thing. Our constituency office thing. Something ain't right. And I'm saying that the parliament, the clerk of parliament or the acting clerk of parliament or the speaker of the house, you need to account to the Grenadian people. We need to know what is Keith Mitchell doing as member of parliament for St. George Northwest. We need to know. Somebody has to tell us. Because we are taxpayers. What is he doing in that constituency? That is very important. But the broader point I am making here is that the NNP is in other words, hated. People just don't want them. People are not allowing them to get away with all their nonsense. Just go. You could go and read the comments for yourself. I'm not making this thing up. They did a press conference and the news item. You look at the comments under it on GBN, on MTV, the live streaming of that thing. Just look at the comments. Ordinary Grenadians telling them straight out. Because you see, the NDC has done so much in the last many, many years. The 3 years and some months. They've done so much for Grenadian people. Folks, don't forget, you have the houses, Project 500. Don't forget that. You can go and check it out, Project 500. I want you to check that out because you can now visit. You could, I want to say to you, it's a good opportunity for you to check out Project 500. All right. It's affordable, good vibes. I think I saw a piece on MTV, and particularly for, the folks in the diaspora and the folks who are young and, looking for a house, looking for a affordable home. This is a good opportunity, and especially if you don't want to deal with a contractor.
17 of the 500 proposed housing models under Project 500 have already been tested as the government of Grenada moves ahead with plans to expand access to affordable housing across the island. The initiative, spearheaded by the government of Grenada, aims to strengthen the country's housing sector through resilient and sustainable solutions. Dubbed Project 500, the program is designed to revolutionize affordable housing by utilizing improved technologies, smart climate features, and more efficient construction methods. Project sponsor Randall Dolan provided a brief overview of the initiative.
When we talk about Project 500, we're talking about a vision for the future ultimately. Okay. So the concept came up about 500 because the administration's goal in the first term was to try to build at least 500 affordable homes.
According to Dolan, 17 of the 500 housing models have already undergone testing.
Right now in the Dunfermline site, through the Housing Authority of Grenada, we have tested 17 models. Right. Because ultimately, if we're going to scale to at least get to 500, but it's 500 of what type of housing, right? We understand what traditional has given us through the years, but also living in a global environment, we know that there are different technologies out there that we could utilize and see how we can make the homes more affordable while keeping them desirable as well as sustainable. So we want to build them faster, keep the cost down, use different technologies, again, and make sure that we're able to now scale that project on a grander scale so we can deliver more than 500 homes, we can deliver thousands. And more importantly, we want to understand how, to ultimately shape the way we deliver housing in Grenada and how we think about housing in Grenada. So this pilot is going to even inform a little bit more about just 17 homes or just about 500 homes. But how can Grenadians ultimately change the way we build? So it's more efficient, there's less headache, it's more cost effective for everybody.
Right, so that's a good move. So again, you can now contact Housing Authority and go and see for yourself the different type of houses and get to know the cost of the houses and how long it will take to build. And they build them in record time. So how long it will take to build and how much it will cost and the material that they will use to build it. And it's affordable because to build a house in Grenada, let's say a 2-bedroom with 2 bathrooms and a drawing room and maybe a kitchen or something, you're looking at $500,000 or maybe even more. All right, so maybe about $600,000. So look, these houses, they're affordable. I think they're between 200,000 and 300 and something at 350, somewhere around there. So, different ones, you're going to get a different price. But housing is a need. It's not just a want, it's a need that people have. And I want to encourage again the financial institutions, please be more receptive to people who are coming for a loan for a house or to buy a piece of land. I know it's easy for you to give a loan for a car because if someone doesn't pay, you just roll up and you take the car. Not only that, you would call your friend and say, hey, there's a car here, The person pay what, $40,000 on it, but the original cost of the thing is $70,000, or $60,000. They can't pay, so you repossess it. So if you come, you could pay the $20,000 and you go get it. That's the kind of link up they have. Some of the financial institutions, not all, some of them. Don't think I know. I know. All right? So please give loans to people who want to buy a piece of land and people who want to buy a house. Because these houses are affordable. Housing authorities open for business. They're saying to you, come look at the 17 Grenada-style homes. Tell us which one you want us to build for you, and they will build it for you. All right? Good opportunity. That's a government that cares. Because for years and years, people have been clamoring for affordable homes because houses are just too expensive. And there are a lot of people who are renting, and it's not because they want to rent them. And they would prefer to rent to own. And affordable houses give you that opportunity. Instead of saying rent, that same rent money that you normally would pay, you'll be paying the credit union or paying the banks. And at the end of the 20 years or the 25 years, you own the house because you finish pay the credit union off, you finish pay the bank off, you own the house, which is good. All right? Very, very, very good. I say to people, sometimes you underestimate the amount of time you're actually renting where you're renting. I remember when I came down to St. George's or St. George, because I'm from St. John, and I started renting. I remember I was renting a house in, my Eyes Auto Caritas, the Mount Gay area. I lived there for about 3-4 years, paying a rent there. When I calculate the amount of money I paid there, it was about what? $40,000 or so. It's about that. And then I went to the Glen, and I lived in the Glen for about 5 to 6 years in the Glen, paying a rent. And when I calculate that, came up to about $80,000 or so dollars. That's $120,000 already. You see what I'm talking about? And then I came here at the foot of Mardi Gras, paying a rent. And I think I have been here for about, Zoe's 4. All right. Zoe came here. So it's about going on to 5 years. All right. Right here. So I'm talking about 5 years, 12, 24, right? 24, 24, 24, 24. You talk about 96. It's about $100,000 I paid here already for rent. So you're looking at me in the last 5, 7, 3, in the last 14 to 15 years, I already paid in rent $250,000. You see the point? So sometimes you underestimate you paying rent. It adds up. So in that 15 years, I already paid $250,000 in rent. Let's assume that I'm here for the next 15 years. All right. It's not that I don't have property, because, I'm building a studio, I have another piece of land, and, it's not that I don't have that. But I'm only saying that it's kind of, you see the point? You understand what I'm saying? So there are people who are renting, and and if I stay here, renting here for the next 15 years, you're talking about $24,000 a month. I'm sorry, a year. About approximately $24,000 a year. Just do the math. 24 times 15. Just think about it. You're talking about $300 and something thousand or more. All right. And I'm no mathematician, but if you do the math, you're talking about 24 times 15. That's $360,000 plus the $240 I spent. You're talking about $600,000. So sometimes you underestimate the amount of money that you pay for rent over time, over a period of time. So it's a good opportunity for you to approach the bank, approach the credit union and say, hey, I visited Project 500. I see a house that I want, and I want Housing Authority to build it for me. And I want a loan. The house costs $300,000. Because some people see this as a lot of money. But if you rent, you're paying that and you getting old and not owning the property. And I'm saying that so you could wise up. You may think this affordable house at $300,000 is a lot. Just calculate how much money you're paying for rent every month and how much years. So it's a good opportunity for you to take this and run with it. These are affordable homes. Reasonable, affordable homes. So again, I want to encourage you to please take advantage of it. You might be living with your mother or father, or maybe you're renting, or maybe you're overseas and you want to come back home. It's a good opportunity to pay Housing Authority and let them build it for you. And they will tell you how much it costs. They will tell you how much time it will take. Look, this is a life changer for a lot of people. And Housing Authority, they get in so much people coming to visit and so on a day. So I want to encourage you, please, please, please. All right, take the opportunity. Some people might have cash money. Some people might have cash. I remember when the piece of land close to me was up for sale. A lot of people came, they checked the land out, and he's telling the owner, well, the person who is selling, well, I have to go to the bank, I have to go to the credit union. But I approached the owner and I said, look, I can't pay you all that you're asking for, but I can pay you cash, a little less. And then the owner of the property in the United Kingdom said to me, well, if you have it cash, pay. So I was able to pay cash and get the land for the studio, the building there, or studio building and, studio registration and that kind of thing. So I was able to do that within no time. So some people have cash that they can actually just pay and get it, which is good. It's a good opportunity. I am saying it's a good opportunity for so many people. Please take advantage of that. You may underestimate how much you're paying for rent. Calculate it by 12. And then when you get that amount, that's an annual amount. Every year, this is what you pay. Then calculate it by the amount of years you've been renting. And then you'll realize, and if you're young, I'm just saying that to say to you, if you're young now, you're going to get a loan easy or easier. If you're, and just calculate it over time, because you see, the loan you may have to pay $1,200 back or $1,000 back a month. You may find it to be a lot. It's not a lot, because that's the same amount you might be paying for rent, because the price of rent is high. I'm telling you, don't even talk about Airbnb or Airbnb. Ha ha. You're joking. Airbnb? I don't have to say it quietly, because So, and rent, it's kind of scarce. Some places, it's really high. Really, really high. So again, all I can say to you is that here is a good opportunity. Take advantage of it. And do not see $250,000 as a lot of money. Don't see $350,000 as a lot of money. Because if you're renting, over time, you will pay the same amount. But if you get a loan, you get the money, you pay Housing Authority, they build it for you, it's yours. It's yours. And when you have it, you can expand on it. You can add to it. It's yours. But if you're renting, you ain't doing anything much, because it's not your building. So, common sense. All right? Common sense. New York. Remember I told you there is a big event coming up in New York. And the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell shall be there. He will be the keynote speaker. All right? And then you'll have a lot of artists and real vibes. I'm telling you, real vibes. And I will be there too, in attendance. I will be there in attendance. Right? I was invited to that event because it is a big event. All right? And it's an event with purpose, spice indulgence, an elegant evening experience. Keynote speaker, the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, May the 16th, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. But during the daytime, they will have another activity during the day, right? During the daytime, awards and other little things. Big things are going on that day. So mark that date down, the 16th of May. The 16th of May, and it will be in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn, New York. All right, the Arch, is it or the Archives? Can't see too good, All right, the Arch, I think it's the Archie or something like that. L394 St. John's Place, 11213. All right, 13. Let me see. No, not L. 1394 St. John's Place, 11213. All right, nice. So I got it right there. I got it right. So this event will be one of the biggest for the year in New York. So I want to encourage everyone to be a part of this event. And I was invited to it, and I will be there. The Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell, you'll be there, and some other, high-ranking NDC officials will be there too. So I want to encourage you, please be a part of this. Buy your tickets, go to FET. You can get your tickets on Go to FET. Mark the date down. It's May the 16th. May the 16th. All right, May the 16th.